Coming up on Naperville News 17. The vote is in on invocations at the DuPage County Board meetings. Local efforts to provide clean water around the world. And it's a hot season for the Park District as they begin controlled burns. Hello everyone, I'm Kim Pierce. Thanks for joining us for this week's Naperville News. Invocations will continue to be held at DuPage County Board meetings. The board voted 11-6 in favor of affirming the practice of a prayer at the beginning of each meeting. Democrat Dawn Dessart initially brought up the question of including invocations back in December. Many Democrats on the board agreed with her, along with many community members who spoke up at the latest meeting.
It makes me feel uncomfortable when we force our neighbors to sit through Christian prayers or any religious invocation. The idea that we can solve the problem by simply rotating the religions or the prayers, I think that's better than nothing. But to me, what it really is just making people take turns feeling unwelcome and excluded.
However, some Republicans and even newly elected Democrat Sadia Covert argued invocations encourage diversity by including different religious leaders and giving them a platform to inform the public about their backgrounds. Among the 24 invocations given in 2018, only one was delivered by a non-Christian. But this year, the diversity of the prayer has already increased, including both the Jewish and Muslim faiths and an atheist speaker. Invocations have been a part of the board's agenda since at least 1973. DuPage Pads is building an addition to its client services building.
Because we noticed in the last couple of years that we really needed a space for our clients to meet with different groups or case management support groups. And we really needed an uninterrupted space for them, a place where they can remain confidential.
The $450,000 addition will also provide more space for on-site workshops and programs.
A welcoming environment is very important to us here, and that our clients feel respected. And so this additional space will certainly provide and enhance the opportunity that we already are providing here.
DuPage Pads has been working to provide support, education, and housing for the homeless in DuPage County since 1985. Changes are coming to the Craftsman in downtown Naperville. The business is revamping their first 2 floors as it morphs into the Two Brothers Barrel House. The new focus of the space will become their line of spirits, beer, and food. The 3rd floor will remain as is. Two Brothers Barrel House will be opening in mid-April. The Naperville Park District Board of Commissioners touched on a number of topics at their latest meeting. Our own Casey Krajewski gives us the update.
The Naperville Park District discussed its 3-year financial plan. That includes some good news for taxpayers.
These are all estimates, but we would anticipate a $10 reduction in an average taxpayer's bill.
The average property owner paid $363 this past year in property taxes to the Park District. That is expected to decrease to $353 in 2020, followed by a $6 increase in 2021. 50% of the Park District's budget comes from the property tax. The Park District also reported estimates concerning the new minimum wage increases over the next several years. Illinois' minimum wage is currently $8.25 per hour, but that will increase by $1 an hour on January 1st, 2020, followed by an additional 75-cent increase on July 1st, 2020. Minimum wage will then go up by $1 every year until it reaches $15 per hour in 2025. The Park District employed 391 individuals who earned less than $9.25 per hour in 2018. Taking into account all the wage changes that will need to be made, they expect to spend $54,000 more in 2020 and $119,000 more in 2021. For Naperville News 17, I'm Casey Krajewski.
The next board meeting will take place on April 11th at City Hall. Up next, get a read on where you can find these little free libraries.
From practice to homework to home improvement to bills, your days are busy. That's why Busey offers innovative financial solutions like our mobile app. Deposit checks, transfer funds, and keep your financial life in order, no matter where you are. Whether you're saving for college, keeping the family in the family business, or planning your dream retirement, Busey's your trusted partner to make your personal, business, and wealth management dreams a reality. Busey, your dream, our promise.
BlackRock has grown quickly since its founding less than 10 years ago. At BlackRock, you cook your steak on a sizzling 755-degree volcanic rock to your exact liking. You can also enjoy all kinds of seafood on the volcanic rock, so each piece is seared to perfection and piping hot as you eat it. At BlackRock Bar and Grill, it's more than just a meal. It's an experience.
Tuition at College of DuPage is going up by $1 a credit hour. The change was voted through by COD board members who approved raising tuition to $137 per credit hour for in-district students. Out-of-district students will pay $324 per credit hour, and out-of-state students $394. The change is expected to generate about $450,000 in additional revenue for the college. This is the second time in 2 years that the college has raised tuition. The new rates begin this fall. March 22nd was World Water Day, and Naperville's campus of Nalco Water, an Ecolab company, celebrated appropriately with a water filter build. Our own Christine Lena was there to drink it in.
Water is a fundamental human right. The world is just getting to grasp to the water crisis, where we're heading in terms of shortage. The United Nations thinks by 2030 there'll be a 40% shortage of fresh water. So we're going to take action.
And action was made locally on World Water Day.
We got hundreds of associates around the world who are coming together in partnership with the Ecolab Foundation and an NGO partner to pull together about 1,700 filters that are going to be shipped to places around the world where people don't have access to clean water.
Each of the 1,700 emergency water filters built by Ecolab volunteers at the event can provide clean drinking water for a family for 10 years.
Just to know that we're helping, and it's such a great feeling to know that we're helping in such a, to me, a small way. I never knew just by doing that how much it helps, how many years that the family can go off of that.
It was so amazing to see how these little bitty pieces of plastic, these little bitty syringes, and just putting them together, it takes all of 2 minutes, if that. Unbelievable.
The filters were developed by Wine to Water, which was founded by Doc Hendley 15 years ago. Their humanitarian efforts have built water systems for needy areas in over 30 countries.
So for us to be able to go into a community, take that water, which is completely filthy, clean it for them, but also provide wells or water systems so they have water right outside their door, and they walk 3 or 4 minutes instead of 3, 4, 5 hours. It totally changes these communities. So you begin to see these whole communities begin to pull themselves out of poverty right when they have access to something that we take for granted every single day, something that comes out of the tap for us that we don't even think about.
These filters, built on World Water Day, will be shipped to Myanmar, Nepal, and parts of South America. Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Christine Lena.
The water filters use the same technology as kidney dialysis to filter out 99.99% of harmful bacteria that cause waterborne illnesses. If you're planning a trip down to Water Street, now there's a place you can prep your visit in advance. The new Water Street Naperville website shows off all of the amenities the area has to offer, whether you're looking for a spot to shop, stay, or play. The site provides a directory of businesses, a map, and the latest events happening in the Water Street area. If you're in the mood for a new read, you might find one just down the road. Not at a traditional library, but at its smaller sibling. Our own Christian Kenizal tells us about the Little Free Library.
You might have seen one around town, your school, or your neighborhood. It's called a Little Free Library, and it's exactly that, a place where you could check out a book for free. Hugh Flanders says he and his wife were the first with a Little Free Library in Naperville outside their home on Jefferson Avenue.
My wife, Sandy, and I are both retired teachers, so when we retired 8 years ago, that was our first little project, was to to build one of these, and it's been very, very successful. So we've gone to having half children and half adult books and magazines.
Started 10 years ago in Wisconsin, the libraries have spread throughout the world with over 80,000 locations. Anyone can put one up to encourage reading and community connectedness.
We notice people stopping by all the time on their way to and from school, or people walking, or in the summer kids ride up on their bikes and hang out for a while. It's really quite fun.
Each free little library is uniquely themed, but has the same directive.
The essence of the Little Free Libraries is to borrow a book and leave a book. It's a free book exchange. They belong to everyone and everyone can use it.
And the libraries aren't just run by homeowners. Public spaces like Neighbor Settlement and churches have them too. The free books are great for people who are underprivileged or may not have access to public libraries.
It just pays it forward for people that might not be able to get new books all the time, or it's a great opportunity for parents and grandparents and children to look for books, read books together.
With over 20 little free libraries around Naperville, a good read is never too far away.
It's a very exciting thing to do. It doesn't take nearly any energy at all, and you still get the satisfaction of sharing that great love of reading.
For Naperville News 17, I'm Christian Canizal.
You can sign up at littlefreelibrary.org to create your own little library. Coming up, how this woman went from Naperville to NASA.
Shop downtown Naperville this spring with over 100 shops, from national favorites to one-of-a-kind boutiques, plus over 50 restaurants, and health and beauty options too. Downtown Naperville is the premier shopping destination in the western suburbs. And don't forget about Downtown Naperville gift cards. They make a perfect gift for every occasion. Come shop, dine, stay, and have fun in downtown Naperville.
What's the matter, boy? What are you trying to tell me? Is something wrong?
We live in a safe community, but not a crime-free community. If you see something, say something.
Naperville Animal Crime Stoppers.
Yes, I'd like to report a case of animal cruelty and neglect.
Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves.
The Naperville Police Department hosted 2 burglary prevention forums as part of its A Safer Neighbor campaign.
Lock your property up. Little saying we came up with, you only have to lock up the things you want to keep.
Making your house unattractive to burglars is often as easy as that, according to the Naperville Police.
Make sure your doors are locked on the house, on the cars, lockers if you're out at the gym somewhere. Lock your property up. You're trying to deter someone, don't make it easy for them.
But if you're looking to further discourage criminals from targeting your house, there's plenty of other tips to keep in mind. Make sure your windows and doors are visible from the street, and don't post on social media when you go on vacation. Police also announced a new partnership with video doorbell company Ring, which would allow them to analyze crime trends for different neighborhoods in Naperville, as well as identify suspects in the area of burglaries.
When they start posting it on there and we could see the trends, and they're notifying neighbors right away, people are being notified right away, everyone wants that information. And as far as police department, we can then contact, if we see something, we can go through the company to email the person who posted that video to get that evidence to have for court.
For more tips on preventing burglaries, you can visit the A Safer Neighbor webpage on the City of Naperville's website. NPD clarified that they cannot access or use Ring video doorbell footage without the owner's permission. Residents stole away to the Naperville Library for a night of heists and hijinks. Naperville News 17's Christian Canizal is on the case.
A manuscript has gone missing from the Naper Boulevard Library, and experts see no sign of forced entry, labeling it an inside job. And library officials have no choice but to call on the best to crack the case.
Now, you told us that Jane Steinbeck left for at least half of the weekend. Are you positive?
She left for half of the afternoon, no doubt.
Was it Sunday or Saturday?
I couldn't tell you. I'm sorry.
Crime solvers around the community interrogated 8 suspects at the library's special Crime Time criminal caper event. Clues from the burglar's trail were scattered throughout the library.
The entire library is the crime scene. Children's area, adults area, computer lab, teen space, the early learning facility, literally everywhere.
Participants were encouraged to use their phones to find out mystery clues some suspects gave.
We found different text messages and different codes to be broken. So.
Yeah, I like the physical clues that we had to find and the different deciphers that we had to do.
Detectives sorted through their evidence to try and figure out the caper.
I don't think it's Nikki Sparks because?
Because she wasn't in work over the weekend. She came in the day after the weekend.
So Jane left and she wasn't supposed to. But Jane claims that she used her credit card at Starbucks and that the police have that record.
The best crime solvers were rewarded with their choice of, quite fittingly, a mystery book. Reporting from the crime scene for Naperville News 17, I'm Christian Canizal.
The Public Library will continue its Crime Time series with the Truth of Trials on April 25th. A Naperville native has been instrumental in a number of important NASA projects. Our own Casey Krajewski gives us her story.
Sally Ride became the first American woman in space in 1983. That same year, Dawn Scheibel graduated from Waubonsie Valley and started down a path to join NASA herself. More and more women are entering STEM careers, but when Scheibel started, she was definitely in a minority.
I think it starts really in the high school when folks are thinking about what they want to do, and I was very lucky that I had teachers and my mom that encouraged me to go into engineering and consider that as a viable career path.
Scheibel now works as Director of Engineering at NASA's Langley Research Center. But earlier in her career, she served as test engineer for the first U.S. elements incorporated into the International Space Station.
I first started working in the shuttle program and then into the space station program, and I just happened to be on a team of folks that were working on the very first U.S. launched elements in my role as a test engineer at the Kennedy Space Center.
NASA had planned the first all-female spacewalk along the station for March 29th, with 2 female astronauts, a female flight director, and a female flight controller. An issue with one of the spacesuits forced one of the astronauts to be replaced by a male. But Scheibel said she hopes soon enough, divers' crews will become routine.
I think, for me personally, it really comes down to having the right people do the right job. And I think, to the extent that our cadre of astronauts are growing in diversity, it is just a matter of time when, that will become common, that we have all female or more diverse crews.
Helping diversity take flight. For Naperville News 17, I'm Casey Krajewski.
The spacesuit issue even caught the attention of Hillary Clinton, who tweeted, "Make another suit." After the break, a Naperville woman's story of how she conquered her fear of water after surviving a tsunami.
For 3 years, she kept it a secret from her Naperville Waves teammates. Jib Chudipong had hesitations entering the cold and vast waters of Lake Michigan, and no one knew why.
I don't like seeing the beach. I don't like seeing the lake because they're too powerful.
It's not just Lake Michigan. It's all large bodies of water. They're powerful and potentially deadly. In 2004, a 9.3 magnitude earthquake rattled the Indian Ocean, the third largest in recorded history, resulting in catastrophic tsunamis. Jib was in a speedboat off the coast of Phuket in her native Thailand.
When they start taking the boat out, that's when the tsunami hit. It's from nowhere, and no noise, no nothing.
It started as a fun day of island hopping, Jib going out with 4 nieces and nephews on her neighbor's new boat. And then she got a call, warning her of potentially giant waves.
It's as calm as it can be. We are on the east side. We should be okay. Yeah.
But the aunt had an uneasy feeling and made an unpopular decision.
Okay, guys, today you need to keep life jackets on at all time, or you are in trouble with me. And they were not happy because, they just want to play. The boat went almost vertical. I had to grab onto the side. At the same time, I looked back and the beach was gone. All the people on the beach were gone. I lost all the kids. How am I gonna tell my brother and my sister?
Jib's nieces and nephews survived. Her neighbor's brother did not. In total, the tsunami claimed over 200,000 lives in 14 countries.
By being handicapped from the beginning, I feel that I'm weaker physically. That experience just make it like tenfold.
After attending grad school in River Forest prior to the tsunami, Jib made the decision to return to the U.S. 6 years after having her world rocked by the sea, she returned to the water with the Naperville waves in 2010. And 3 years later, made her way to Lake Michigan to train for a 2.5-kilometer race.
I went to the beach with them, not liking it, but I like just being with the team. So I said, I'm just gonna go hang out with you guys. Didn't plan to swim. I went in of all the confidence in Sue. And then she was like, here, try going with, she set up a group with me. And that group gave me even more confidence because the first time I went in, I had about 3 panic attacks.
What started as a few test swims turned into an emotional race day at the Big Shoulders Open Water Swim Classic, with Jib crossing the finish line alongside Waves founder and head coach Sue Welker.
Obviously, she was very fatigued from the event. She was cold, and and then just the immobility of being on the sand and the instability. And then the other 4th component of that was just the emotions that were running, because it was, for her, this was just a magnificent goal, and it was bigger than anything that she had really. It would be like you or I running a marathon or doing an Ironman or something.
And it was only post-race when Jib opened up to her coaches and to her teammates about her traumatic experience.
After we did the swim, it just all came together, and just I was very proud of what she had gone through. And I know she continues to struggle with, how difficult that was for her.
Without my teammates and Sue, I wouldn't be able to do this.
Conquering her fear of water, with the waves that once took away her confidence, soon providing a support system for an unbelievable accomplishment. Reporting for Sports Stories Sunday, I'm Kevin Jackman.
If you have a sports feature idea, let us know at newstips@nctv17.com. The Naperville Park District is fired up about spring. That's because trained crews are now out conducting controlled burns at select parks this season. It's all done to improve the habitat and help native plants regrow for the spring and summer, while killing off non-native and invasive species. But the process is entirely dependent on the weather.
The wind speed should be anywhere from 3 miles per hour to 15 miles per hour, and today it's actually at 8 miles per hour, so it's a perfect wind speed. And then the humidity today is at 42%, which is perfect. You typically want like 35 up to 60. If it's up to 60% humidity, then we're going to get a lot of smoke.
After the fire department is notified of the burns, crews carefully ignite the area with water and tools in hand to control the flames. The Park District's controlled burns first began in 2004. And that's what's happening right here in your neighborhood, Naperville. We'll see you next week. Until then, you can catch us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course our website, nctv17.com, for daily updates.
This week's Naperville News 17 is brought to you in part by the following sponsors. program is partially funded by a grant from the City of Naperville.